And I appreciate everybody's commitment to early childhood education, all the way up through elementary school, and making sure kids really start off strong. I have a 10-year-old, and so it is near and dear to my heart. And those of you who know my story, both of my parents were teachers, really, really steeped in education, and I just know that that's the path to upward mobility. That's how you're going to make it in our country and in our community, and so it's so important. Okay, well, our next project comes directly from Commissioner Cindy Mills, who I have worked with on several big projects, and but this was a relatively small but very important one, to get 2 additional counselors in the Forsyth County Insight program to combat substance abuse among children. And I am sure, if you think about it for just a second, probably every single one of us knows a child who has been, caught up in some kind of substance abuse problem, or a child who suffered from depression, and it is just one of the most awful situations. You just know those parents, and it is just so heartbreaking. And we have a friend whose son got addicted to drugs and ultimately died, from an overdose. And so I know Cindy has also shared really rough stories with me, and that is something that really affects us throughout the community. The Insight Substance Abuse Counselor Program utilizes support groups, individual sessions with students, peer-driven social activities, and family support to help students avoid and then confront these issues if they arise. This additional funding will allow for the hiring of 2 additional counselors and enable the county to continue working towards its goal of having a substance abuse counselor in all 7 of its traditional high schools to ensure students have the resources they need to stay on track. It will also enable more effective collection of data on best practices and strategies to enhance the program's impact. So with that, Commissioner Mills, I am pleased to present you with this check.
I want to thank Commissioner Levant for being here as well. He's always been very supportive of our program at Gateway. Our board is now in our second 3-year, which is our 4th year, with this project that we do with our sheriff's office. And a counselor in this regard is so different than a counselor that is academically prepared. I mean, these counselors are people that have dealt with addiction in their own life. They're people that can relate, and they have made such an impact on our students at Gateway. We have had come before our board recently when we were looking at doing this a second time, which we did get some pushback from some of our board members, but it was, we get into this divide that this is a school system issue, this is not a Board of Commissioner issue, or this is another labeling divide. Well, this is a Democrat and you're a Republican. And I just think that this is representative of why we should all work together. And I think the community wants to see people working together and coming together to do good things for our community as a whole, and not just get in a silo where we refuse to talk to one another because we might be on different sides. And it doesn't mean you agree on everything, but you can agree on a lot of things, and a lot of things can be made better from working together. And I could not have asked for a representative to come along when I was chair and was going through a pandemic that constantly met with us. And these issues that you're dealing with and talking about are exacerbated just tremendously because of the pandemic. Mental health is at an all-time high or low, whichever way you want to look at it. Representative Bourdeaux helped us so much when Kevin Tanner and I were reaching out to talk to her about our crisis stabilization center and trying to get through the minutia of government to get approval for that, and just so many issues. All of this is interconnected, because if you help a child before they start school, and you can stop a child before they go to opiates and they're just making that transition, you help your county government. And I've argued this over and over, because you have fewer people in drug court. You have fewer people jailed in our jails. You have fewer people that's reliant on us for services later if you help them more downstream. And I just think that we need to keep showing people that government can work together. It doesn't matter what line, if you're on this side of the line or that side, or the school system and the board, we're all one, and we need to all think and put our constituents and our kids first. I appreciate you for doing that.